All right, well, that's close enough for me. I think we've got a good group and the attendees seem to have been settling out. So we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome everybody to this session. My name is Cameron Laird. I'm a product director here at Inside Real Estate, and I'm responsible for marketing services. So anything advertising related falls under my purview. And we're going to go through quite a few of those things today. Today's session is going to be focused on dynamic real estate ads, which are really, really exciting. It's a fantastic way to use your listing inventory or the listing of inventory available to you to put buyers and homeowners into your database and keep them coming back to your website so that you can work with them. So these dynamic real estate ads are really cool. They are, just like what we've seen before in the past. If you're familiar with PropertyBoost or other advertisements that we have, they run on Facebook, but instead of being a single focus property-based ad, these are based on what's called a listing catalog. And the nice thing about them is that they scale really well because they help to promote all of your listings or all of the listings, or promote yourself as a representative of an area with a number of listings using unique creative that doesn't require you to go in and create ads for each individual listing. So it's really, really exciting to help you scale your online presence and make sure your advertising is easy to maximize what you've got. And then you'll see when we go through the examples and what you can see on the screen here, there's a really fantastic you get this really fantastic carousel of listings in the ad, which helps to actually make them really engaging and help to engage with people online when they're looking at these listings. Because, unlike a PropertyBoost ad where you've got a single property that, may or may not pique somebody's interest, when you see more listings together in this sort of carousel view, you're more likely to stop and click through and scroll through up to 50 different listings to have a look, and maybe something else piques your interest, except for the one that maybe is on the front of the ad doesn't. So the other great thing about these ads is that they are always on. This is really a set it and forget it, type of program. Once you get them up and running, they are kept up to date automatically with all of the latest listing inventory. So there's no need to go back and do any configuration and keep these things running. They're also dynamically relevant. So we're going to be showing people geographically relevant ads that's going to show you all the up-to-date information, availability of the properties. And just like with all of our other advertising programs, you can deeply integrate them into kvCORE as the leads are captured to make sure they show up in your CRM very, very easily. And like with other programs that we use, these are high quality leads you get because they are leveraging a Facebook lead form, which is going to capture really high quality contact information for you because it's automatically populated. So just as a quick reminder, a Facebook lead form looks like this. You've got your ad on the left-hand side, and it shows you the advertisement, and when somebody clicks through, they get to see this lead form, and the lead form is going to capture their contact information: first name, last name, email address, phone number. And the nice thing about this and how we get such good quality information is that these are automatically populated by the user's profile on Facebook. So they don't have to stop and think about filling this out. It's already going to be pre-populated. All they have to do is click on next. They see a little privacy policy, and then they click submit, and away they go. So this is a really great way to get good quality contacts into your database. Now, that being said, with most of these programs, I always like to sort of set some expectations in terms of what these leads look like when they get into your database and what you can expect from them. So if we talk a little bit about Facebook, and we talk about what people do on Facebook, what you have to keep in mind is that when somebody sees an ad like this on Facebook, they typically are doing something else at the time. They might be sitting around with their family, they're watching TV, they're scrolling on their phone through Facebook, and your ad pops up in their feed. And they see something there that piques their interest, and it's something that looks interesting, but they weren't actively pursuing the act of looking at listings on your website. So they've come through, they see the property, they click on it, and they want to see some more information. So as a result, when you follow up with these people, what you want to do is use an approach that's low pressure, provides value, and over some period of time, you're going to end up getting people that's going to work with you. So that's what we say a little bit about these. Like I said before, with the multi-property carousel ad and these dynamic forms that we're going to talk about today, you do end up with a much higher capture rate because they are more engaging, but it is a still something that you want to look at is looking at your approach and making sure you're following up with these people immediately with a very low pressure kind of confirmation to make sure they're getting what they need. Okay. So what do we need to run a dynamic real estate ad? I'm going to show you two methods of doing this. The first one is I'm going to show you step by step how to go and create these for yourself on Facebook. You're going to need a couple of things. First and foremost, a Facebook business page that you can use to link your advertisement to. You're going to have to use Facebook Ad Manager. And if you've never done that before, it's not a big deal. You just go to facebook.com/ads. There's a nice wizard that'll take you through how to set that up and get it going. You're going to need a catalog file with your listings in it, or with some listings you want to promote in it. And I'll show you an example of that in a second. And then you're going to need some way of getting your leads into kvCORE. And I'll go through and very briefly how to go about doing that using something like API Nation through the marketplace in kvCORE. So I'll walk you through this really quickly. I'll give you a bit of a live demonstration to help you see just what it is that we're going to go about that we're talking about today. So the first thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to walk you through Ads Manager very quickly. And in Ads Manager, I'm actually going to go into another section here called Commerce Manager. And I mentioned before that the main aspect of this is a catalog that shows all of your listings. So I've gone ahead and created one ahead of time. But what this is this is showing you the catalog. I've created this one. I have two items in my catalog. These are my two listings. And you can see that I've got some issues coming up with this popping in from Facebook. Is just because my data is relatively temporary or garbage data. I'm just using some quickly put together data. But this is your overview of what your source is. You can see what items are in your catalog. So I've got two listings here. In my catalog, you can see my MLS IDs are becoming my listing IDs, price, all that kind of stuff. So once I've done that, the way that we do that is by setting up a data source for this. And I'm going to click on this data source. And what I've done is I've created this to connect with a Google document. And that looks like this. So what your listing catalog is essentially a sheet that contains a listing inventory. And you can do this a number of ways. What I've done here is I've created a catalog of home listings for myself from my website. I've just gone and filled this out. You can see I've got a couple of different addresses, different with price points and all the information about it, where the images are stored. All that kind of stuff is all populated in here, who the agent is, what company it's for, etc. And I've stored that in my Google Drive, and then I've connected it with my Facebook account and linked it into this catalog. So once I've done that, and once I've uploaded it, they'll actually process through it and they'll extract all of the items that are in your file. And you can set this up on a timer so that it runs every day or every hour or every week. And anytime you add a new listing to that spreadsheet, it'll be automatically added to your catalog. And that's basically how it works. So we're going to go through and do this. And then once we've done that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to build an ad off of this. So now I'm going to go into my Ads Manager, and I've already got one started here. And I'll go through a couple of key areas that you need to keep an eye on when you're building these ads, starting with at the very beginning, when we create our campaign, we need to pay attention to the special ad category. Because we're in real estate, we need to make sure that we assign a specialized category to this, that we conform to all the rules, and regulations that go along with advertising. And it also sets Facebook up so that they understand, what rules to apply and how to look at your ads when they're approving or rejecting them. We're going to scroll down a little further to there. And the next thing from a campaign objective, we're going to pick lead generation. That's where we're going to have all of our ads created when we're doing this on Facebook for real estate, is we want lead generation. And then we're going to go into the next section, which is our ad set. And you can name these however you want. You can, give them very specific names. You can run multiples at the same time. You might want to do some testing back and forth, but for our purposes, we're just leaving everything default. We're going to make sure that our leads are going to be coming through an instant form, and that's that form that I showed you a second ago. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do two things. We're going to set our page. So in this case, I've got my Facebook business page, which is called Real Estate for Sale. For you, if you don't have your own business page, you can create one just by clicking here and creating a new page for this. And then you've got the next set is you're going to link your catalog to the ad. So in this case, what I've done is I've chosen that catalog that I just created, and I'm pulling in all of the listings that are on it. For a budget, you want to sort of start this off, and when you're setting a budget for this, you probably want to start as a minimum at about $10 per day, and then you can kind of ramp that up and down as you see fit, as you see it. But even if you wanted to get this going and really see how it goes, you can push a pretty high budget of how much you want to spend into this and get it ramped up and get some leads flowing. But in most cases, $10 is a good place to start. So moving down, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to define our audience, and we're going to say which locations do we want to target people in. In this case, because most of my listings are in New York State, I've actually just chosen the state, and it's going to be anybody who's living in or has been recently in this location. You don't have to do the state. You can choose a different location. I can scroll in, for example, and I can drop a pin, and I can use a pin around a very specific location. So if I wanted to do around a city, I can do that, or around a zip code area. You can't use a zip code specifically, but you can zero in on a more specific area. But for our purposes today, I just chose state. And that's all we're going to do on this page. That's it. So we've set this up a little bit. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go into our ad. And from here, you're going to do a couple of other things to make sure this is all set up and running for you. You're going to choose how you want it to be running. So you want a carousel is what you're going to choose. And then you get to define what you want to have happening on your carousel cards. So in this case, I've done a single image. And then you can give it a headline. You can see the preview of the ad appearing here. I've done, do all the latest listings in New City, New York. And then in the description, you've got this little home listing description, which is one of the fields you populate in your catalog. And then as you go through this, you can see a call to action. We want to set it to learn more. And then you can see what your form looks like. We've got our form selected. And as we scroll down in this section, scroll down. Where is it? Here, you can see our lead contact form has been set up for us with our name, email address, phone numbers, but you're probably going to have to create that on your own. So you can click on create form here, and it's going to give you this little editor that you can use. You want to make sure that you're using a form that's set for more volume. If you do higher intent, it's going to add some additional steps in there for people to confirm their information. We typically recommend you remove the greeting. That's just an extra step that you don't necessarily want to have. And then you go in to configure your questions. And on these questions, what you're going to do is I'm going to remove full name, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some different information. And you can see all of the information that you can capture from these leads from Facebook. I can make it so that it's first name. I can add in last name, and then I'm going to add in phone number. And what I typically like to do is put your first name up at the top, followed by your last name, your email address, and your phone number, because typically your phone number is going to be buried toward the bottom. And it just ensures that you're more likely that you're going to capture that phone number as you go. So from here, all you have to do is set up things like your privacy policy, which is just a link on your website. It's your website address /privacy from your kvCORE website. And then you can go ahead and publish it and you're ready to go. So once you've done this, the next thing we have to do is connect Facebook up to send leads into kvCORE. And there's a really easy way to do that by going into the marketplace. And I've moved over now to kvCORE, and I'm on my dashboard, and I'm going to scroll down to marketplace. And in here, we have a couple of different ways to do this, but the one that I'm going to show you really quickly is through API Nation. So if you go into API Nation, you can sign up here and you can add this to your kvCORE system, and it'll link your Facebook lead system into your kvCORE so that any leads that come through will link into kvCORE. So that's sort of the generalities of how you're going to go about building these to make sure that you can build a catalog website, a catalog ad based on listings from your website. But in this case, it's up to you to keep it up to date. Anytime you get a new listing, you're going to have to put it into that spreadsheet or remove ones that are sold. It takes a little bit of time. And on top of that, you're going to have to go through and optimize your ad and make sure that it's running. So I've gone through this exercise to kind of show you exactly what it takes to build one of these ads. And even if you've done it a couple hundred times, you're still going to run into issues. I don't know what the heck the problem was today, but I was creating it and Facebook was rejecting my listings and I couldn't understand why. But it takes a lot of time to do this kind of stuff. And it's difficult for you to, it's a difficult task if you've never done it before. Even myself, I've done this a bunch of times and it takes me some time to get in there. But your time is more valuable spent working with clients than it does behind a computer screen. So with that, the product that we're going to talk about today takes this and makes it really easy for you. It's sort of, I've gone through and shown you the advantages of doing this and what's really cool about these. And then at Inside Real Estate in the marketplace, we actually now offer a product called Get Buyer Leads, which does this for you automatically. So anything that you do, you go in and you buy this, and we will automatically take care of managing all of the listings for you. We'll make sure that they get up into Facebook, they attach to your ad, and we take care of all the lead retrieval for you. So you don't have to worry about getting leads back into your system using something third party like API Nation or Zapier. This is all included and we take care of it for you. So just a recap on what we're talking about here, if we take this and we put the Get Buyer Leads sort of product wrapped around it, and we talk about this, what these are is, again, dynamic ads that are showing your local buyers a targeted selection of listings from your company website in their area. We always prefer that we use your websites, your listings first from your company. But if you don't have any, or your listing inventory drops down and you've sold everything and nothing is available on the market anymore, we will open that up to a selection of MLS listings based on the zip code that you choose to target. So we will always make sure this is full of listings, but we do prefer your own company listings first. This is automatic, so we keep this up to date with all the latest of your listings. You don't have to worry about creating a file and uploading it to Google Drive. It's all done for you. This truly is an easy button to do what I just took 15 minutes to show you how to do. These ads, like I said before, are highly engaging. Users are more likely to click through and engage with these when they see more than one listing. So you can imagine if I'm a user and I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see a property and nothing about that property in the image attracts my interest, I'm not likely to click through to see more information about it, to see the other listings that are on your website. But in this case, you're putting up to 50 listings in front of every potential viewer. And if the first listing they see in the ad isn't going to pique their interest, something might. So you're increasing the possibility that someone's going to take this ad and click through and land on your website, so that so that they are then captured as a lead, and now you've got them in kvCORE and you can see what they're doing on your website and use all that behavior analysis. So again, set it and forget it. You're going to do this one time. All you have to do is configure which website you want to point it at and which zip code you want to target, or postal code, I should say. If you're in Canada, you could just set that up, set up your budget, and we get everything going for you. There's no need to do any maintenance or management of this whatsoever. The last thing about this is that we do include some retargeting in this. So your ad will be shown again to people who have shown interest in properties on your website. And if they come and they start looking at listings, they will see your ad more, again, with different listings. Okay. So you can see an example here of this animated example on the left-hand side. This is what one of these ads looks like, where you've got multiple listings, you're scrolling through, just gives you a little bit of a preview of what that looks like. Monthly subscription on this starts at $500 per month, which is the base price. We do require a 3-month commitment on this. because it does take some time for these to ramp up and get going, and we want things to simmer a little bit and get optimized as you make a decision on if the program is right for you. The spend, it does cap out at $1,500 per month, but basically when it comes to the pricing options, these are how much money gets dedicated to spend on the different pricing options grows as you go into the higher price points. And with all advertising online, whether it's Facebook or Google or any other type of advertising that you're doing, typically they're auctions, and the higher your daily spend is, the more likely you are to reach a wider audience. So your audience will grow based on how much you're spending per day on the advertisement. So that's a little bit about buyer leads. I'll show you where to find this in the marketplace really quickly. If we go back to our kvCORE system, we're going to scroll to marketplace. I'm going to just remove this search from here. And then there's a couple of ways you can find this, but one of the best ways to do it is just, whoops, I hit the wrong button. How do you like that? I'm going to go back to marketplace here. I'm going to click on get more leads, and this shows you all of our advertising programs, and you're going to look for the little funnel with the coin, and it's called get buyer leads right here. And all you have to do is click on learn more, pick your website. So for me, I only have one website. I'm going to click this, click on add to kvCORE, and it's going to take you to the order form where you're going to define your zip or postal code, targeting area, set your budget, and put in your credit card to purchase it. So it's really, really easy to get this up and running. We'll have the ad up and running, and you'll start to see the leads come into kvCORE, and they'll be hashtagged with KV buyer paid. And it makes it really easy for you to take those leads and do whatever you need to do with them from a nurturing perspective, put them into the right campaigns, reach out to them en masse, whatever you want to do, you can do that right from the hashtag. So back to the presentation. And I thought actually, as we go through this, I wanted to sort of spend some time talking about some other properties, because in some cases, listing-based advertising isn't right for you, or you don't have the right budget. We do offer other programs from an advertising perspective that might fit you better if you don't have a large listing category, or you don't have a budget to spend on it. Facebook AI is a good place to go at a lower price point. So for this product, this is, again, an easy button. You can build these advertisements really easily right from the marketplace. We do all the work for you, fully managed by our team. So there's nothing you have to do. And this, again, will pull leads into your database, every month. Keep it fully automated. There's nothing you have to do beyond defining a zip code and a website. You get a good balance of quality and quantity coming through this program, but these ads are a little more static. So you're going to see just a basic image with a call to action at the top of the page. And, this is a different type of advertisement, more of a brand play to sort of establish yourself as a player in the space. The product here starts at $250 per month. So it's a much lower price point for you there, but it is a different product. So it's not as sophisticated as the previous product. But again, a 3-month commitment required on this one to get that up and running. Last but not least, again, this is another listing program that I wanted to share with you. But again, this is another great way to put your toe into the online advertising space, which is PropertyBoost, which is our classic single listing focused advertisement. I think this is a good complement to the other programs that we have, because it does give you the ability to offer something to your sellers when you have a listing that's dedicated to their property. So in this case, you can boost a property alongside having the other ad programs running. But this one's nice because it gives you the ability to share what you're doing with the listing marketing with your clients. You can add their contact information into the PropertyBoost, so they'll receive updates on how many leads and contacts have been made going through the advertisement. It also looks really great on your listing presentation. If you're going to start doing PropertyBoost as part of your program, you can put this into the listing presentations. I'm going to do dedicated online ads. I'm going to share all the performance with you, and it looks really good and showcases the value that you're adding. Again, these are optimized. Everything here that I've talked about doesn't require any integration using any third-party systems. All of the information and all of the leads come directly into kvCORE without you having to do anything, which is really nice. If you're not familiar with PropertyBoost, a week of advertising a property on PropertyBoost is going to cost you $60. And it's it's pretty inexpensive. Cost per lead on these is sitting at around $7 on average. So you get a really good value coming through these. And with PropertyBoost, you can boost now a number of different types of listings. You can boost your manual listings. So if you have some some listings that are maybe coming soon, or you want to get some buzz going around them, you can boost those using the manual listing feature in kvCORE. You can also boost sold listings. So if you've previously had a property that sold, you can use that PropertyBoost to get that out there and promote that you sold a listing locally and start to drive in new sellers to the market as well. So with that, I think we'll focus on some questions if there have been any coming through the channel here. So I see here the question here from Scott. If they do not have email or phone number in their profile, will it force them to enter? Yes. So any information that is on there can be edited by the user. We don't enforce phone number, but you need at least the email address to come through on the form. It won't let you submit any information without at least an email address. Typically, mandating phone numbers is a bit of a conversion killer, and typically it's a conversion killer, but it's definitely something people look for. Having the lead form, which is pre-populated with the phone number, is actually a good alternative to having the phone number mandated, because most people have the phone number and email address exposed in Facebook, and it'll pre-populate those forms. And they don't notice it, and they'll just click through without thinking about it, as opposed to when they're stopping on a field and having to fill it out. So that's what I was going to say there. Okay, so great question here. How does the Facebook ad appear to the viewer? Do the ads show as real estate for sale as depicted, or from our Facebook business page? So currently we're using our own generic pages, which is real estate for sale. We don't have the ability to link to your Facebook business page. If you were doing this on your own, you were building your own page, your own advertisements, you certainly could do that. But page linking isn't something we currently offer yet. It's coming soon. It's on our roadmap. So I'm hoping to have that ready for later on. Another great question here, this versus managed Google ads. So Google pay-per-click ads, the way that you think about these is that they tend to be a higher intent, lower volume leads. So with Google pay-per-click, you get higher intent, but they are lower volume. And that comes from the fact that they are actually actively pursuing a specific search. So somebody has gone in and said, homes for sale in New City, New York, and they're looking for listings, and that's what they're getting there. Versus with Facebook, they are passively responding to your ad. So the intent tends to be lower. They have a longer nurture period with Facebook versus Google, but still very, very good value in terms of the quantity of leads that you see coming through a Facebook program. I'm just going to read through this. If our company had limited listings, you already have permission to boost other brokerage listings. So basically, short answer to that is I'll show you what is available to you. So if you oops, I closed that by mistake. Wrong screen. So if you go into your listings tab in kvCORE, and you can see that there's a tab called all MLS listings. These are the listings that are eligible to be displayed on your website. So that's what we're using to populate the advertisement, is the listings that are available to be shown on your website based on the feed that we get from your MLS. So that's basically the short answer to your question there. If what listings are available to be boosted. So a question here, I hear Google ads are better than Facebook. What's my response? I think a better way to look at that would be that Google ads are different from Facebook. And again, what I was just saying before is that what the difference comes down to is the intent and the propensity to purchase is higher with a Google ad than a Facebook ad. That being said, with kvCORE and with the tools that you have in front of you, you have a really, really good platform that can set you up to nurture those leads coming in from Facebook, to have a good percentage of them convert into buyers and sellers with you for a lower price per lead than what you're going to pay from Google. So, you're going to pay probably, in the $5 to $15 range for a lead coming through a Facebook ad. But for Google, you're going to see the cost per lead being sort of in the $20 to $40 range, maybe even higher depending on the marketplace. So really it comes down to the cost per lead, but you have to balance the propensity to purchase. So a really good way to look at this is to try and create a balanced funnel where you've got, high intent, ready to purchase sooner leads coming in at a lower percentage, lower number, but they're more ready to purchase in the short term, and balance that with a longer term advertising program where you're going to get leads that are coming in that are not as ready, but have you're going to get a higher volume of them to work with and communicate with and start conversations with. So if you sort of build like a balanced portfolio of advertising using a mixture of Google and Facebook, you should have a really good funnel of customers that you can work over a period of time. The other thing I'll just point out too is that the Google pay-per-click advertising program starts at a $750 a month price point because the spend requirements to get meaningful results on Google is higher than what you see on Facebook. So another question here is how does the viewer see or know the agent's name that they can expect to hear from? So when they click through the particular property on the ad, they're going to land on your website. So they're going to see all of your branding right on the listing detail page when they land on your website from the ad. So it's not necessarily on the advertisement itself. The call to action and the imagery and the listings is what's catching their attention there. But the branding is going to be on your website when they land there, and they're going to be spending more time on your website. And I'm not sure about this question here. The question is, can you look at sold listings in previous brokers before Fathom 2? That really comes down to what we receive from your MLS board. So if your MLS provides sold data and sold listings in their feed to your websites or to kvCORE, then yes, you can, but it really varies from MLS to MLS. And then another question here is, can we boost listings that do not belong to our office? So we're advertising listings that are available to be seen on your website, which are in the feed of listings that your MLS is providing to you for your website through kvCORE. So basically, all of the listings that are available to go into the Get Buyer Leads catalog are eligible to be viewed on your website, and some of which could be outside of your brokerage. Okay, any more questions from anybody? Question here for buyer leads, will we take care of everything from ad setup to linking the Facebook page? We don't offer Facebook page linking currently, but we take care of everything. We get the ad stood up, we get it up and running, and we make sure that there's a connection between Facebook and kvCORE, so any leads that are generated will automatically show up in your kvCORE system. Yes, that we will be sending out a recording probably within the next day. You'll see a recording in your inbox by email with a link to our YouTube video. So you can go back, you can watch it again. You can see what, if there's any questions that you have outstanding at that point. Another great resource for you is to contact support. If you do have any questions when you're going through setup, you can always use this little blue box down in the right-hand side to contact our support team. We have a dedicated support team that's familiar with all of the advertising programs, as well as Get Buyer Leads that can answer any questions you might have. Performance stats are a little early right now. I can share sort of like cost per lead. We're seeing between, anywhere between $5 and $15 per lead coming through on the Get Buyer Leads program, but it is a new program that's just, we're doing a wide we're doing a wide announcement right now, but it is a newer program. But that's what we're seeing so far. We do see some situations where the cost per lead is very low, and in some situations where it's a little higher, but it's a pretty wide range. Yeah, there's a recording for the Get Seller Leads webinars that we've hosted in the past. You can find those on our YouTube channel. So if you just go to insiderealestate.com/webinars, you'll see all of the webinars that have been pre-recorded. So, all right. Well, if there are no more questions today, we certainly can bid you farewell and give you some time back in your afternoon. I thank you all for your time and your attention and your great questions. So it's been very good set of questions that have been asked today. So I'm going to answer one more that just came up in the chat that I want to answer really quickly, which is my Facebook page is brand new and don't have much traffic yet. That doesn't matter. So your Facebook page does not matter at all. You don't have to worry about your own Facebook page. We are going to drive traffic to these ads by purchasing the traffic. So you don't need to worry about if your page is new, etc. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.